All right. Yes, sir. I can hear you
Okay.
live and in living color. Peace, everybody. I see everybody coming in. Peace, peace, peace. Another amazing night with another amazing guest. Um, let's get at it. Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast.
Well, let me grab my headphones real quick.
Okay, go ahead. I'll go ahead and do my intro while he does that.
Introduce let the people
Yeah,
know about the Powhatan. Introduce
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. So we go Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. We first off, peace and love, everybody. It's your brozo Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. Of course, we are here to uplift humanity, and in addition to help open the minds and help awaken the woolly-head melanated beings that have been lied to and misinformed for quite some time. If you haven't already, please go to polka.rabbitpodcast.com and check out my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving the World of Illusions. And a lot of people ask the questions about my experiences and why I do what I do. Read the book, it explains it all. It'll make a lot of sense.
Yes, sir.
Um, and now I have another author with us tonight, a good brother, man. And one of the reasons why I asked Crip Jesus back on, because as of right now, currently, I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and there's a lot of history um, up here in Richmond, Virginia, that has been given incorrectly. You know what I'm saying? It's been thrown in the water. You know what I'm saying? It's been misinformed. It's been a mess. But I think it's very important that we need to really start to set the record straight on the true story about some of the stuff of our native heritage, and also specifically dealing with Virginia and also Native American tribes in Virginia all around there. We're going to get into that today. Um, that's it for me. Like I said, I got another good brother, another author, fellow author here, Crip Jesus. He showed you the Holy Bible, the Crip. What's the full name? The Blue Bible, right? Can you hear me? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. You went off the yard screen. There you go.
I'll come back in right now.
Okay, you good. You good. All right. Yeah. Please introduce yourself. Talk about your book. You know what I'm saying, and we can go ahead and get it rolling because we do have a presentation tonight. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man. It's Crip Jesus, aka King El Allah, the 5% Nation of Gods and Herbs, author of the Blue Bible. Yes, and I'm here to break down one of the big teachings in the Blue Bible. I'll talk about how my grandfather revealed to me that I was Gullah Geechee, you know what I mean? And that took me down a whole rabbit hole of history that filled in a lot of gaps for me as far as between trying to figure out our connection to Africa on the other side of the water and our connection to the Aboriginal people here on this side of the water, you know what I mean? Because we just saw it as black, just,
Hmm.
as an understanding of the phenotype of people that look like us, talk like us, you know what I'm saying? Dress like us, speak like us, and for us being stripped of our history and culture, who else is stripped like us? You feel what I'm saying? Because even
Hmm.
growing up like that, like when I would meet, I would have homies who I would be best friends with, and then maybe he tells me he's Belizean, or you know what I mean? I'm like, oh wow. And then I start thinking, what does it feel like? You know what I'm saying? This whole, because and it even feels a little funny because like this whole time I thought, you know, we identified as slaves, you know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
what we had in common. We were both, stripped, the niggas or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like coming from that in that moment when grandpa's like, nah, you're Geechee, this, that, and the other. And I got to look it up and I'm like, whoa, hold on. So what shocked me was I was thinking I was going to look up like some Indian tribe. You feel what I'm saying? It's going to be
Hmm.
like a bunch of feathers and ooh, wah, wah, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But what I ended up finding was exactly what I was looking for. People that looked like me, people who were
Hmm.
stripped like me, people who were related to me. And it didn't go back to just slavery. It went back to the tribes right here. It went back to the history right here in North America. You feel me? So that was exciting and very powerful to me. And what I found there was I did a presentation on Crumb TV called Gullah Geechee, Did Slavery Happen? And a lot of people were like, did slavery happen? Of course. And I was showing that what I found in the Gullah Geechee history was, I'm not going to say people didn't get enslaved, but it was always during battles and wars.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw submission. I never saw an annexation. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
never saw us signing a treaty. I never saw us agreeing to anything. And to be honest with you, it helped me. It helped solve all the questions in my head. It made me realize that we're not Indians. Indians are the ones who made the deals with them. Indians are the ones who signed the contracts with them. That's not us. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the other brothers wanted to divide us from Africa. And this is where the Moroccan science comes in, that the same way Washington, D.C. is controlling these 52 plus territories that we call USA, Fez Morocco was the head of a bunch of states
Mm-hmm.
from West Africa to over here. Now we can get into the science and say, "Oh yeah, the land used to be together." That's just going deeper, deeper, deeper. We're talking legality right now. We're talking
Yeah.
real history, real law. So this is why they had to actually go to the Sultan to get permission to make USA. Well, what me and you are talking about tonight with the Powhatan and the Yamasee are all before the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
This makes us natives on top of natives. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. Yeah.
Because
Native on top of layers on layered on top of layered on top of
yeah,
that.
come on, because it's like on one layer native because we're prior to the creation of the United States of America. Now they're going to try to say, well, we're pilgrims. We came with the British, saying, okay, all right, cool. But here's the difference: y'all came to invade the original people
Mm-hmm.
of not only North America but North Africa.
Yeah.
And see, this is where I draw it in. I tell brothers, if you look at the Moorish territory in North Africa, Northwest Africa, Spain, Portugal, and you include here too, like the Eastern Seaboard and all that, right? Where they say Turks was dropped off by Sir Francis Drake. It's a lot of like Moorish history on the Eastern Seaboard, right? You'll see that all those areas experience that same genetic change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how like they look now and how different they are now, they just have
Mm-hmm.
culture.
Exactly.
But you see that continuously through that whole area.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why the United States' first war was the Barbary War,
Mm-hmm.
the Barbary pirates. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So with all that being said, what does that got to do with us? I'm gonna tell you, they started us at 1620 Mayflower. A lot of dudes, you ask them, well, where does the slavery start? Where's the Black History start? I don't know, 1400s, 1500s. They started us traditionally in history books at 1620. They say a boat called the Mayflower landed in Jamestown with 20 Angolans on it, right? So when I went with I'm a slave history,
You dropped off again on the StreamYard. There you go.
oh yeah. So when I went according to, quote unquote Black history, it said that it was a boat with 20 Africans enslaved from Angola landed here. That's the beginning of Black history. But when I used the Gullah Geechee science, it said that we're a mixture of the people that were being brought and the people that were here already. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That the people that were here already, they're not just a tribe, it was a confederacy of all type of people. You feel what I'm saying? Like all type of original people, nations, even people that were speaking different languages. Just they call it confederation. A lot of
Yeah.
black people don't like to hear that word because it makes them think of Confederacy and the Confederate
Mm-hmm.
flag. But they got the Confederate flag from us.
Yeah.
It's real
Exactly
history
right.
here. So the confederacies that would be formed would include many tribes. That's how they were able to join the confederacies. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Get their identities. So
I I think it's real important the fact that you said that date of 1662 because they say the birth of America is what 1776, correct? You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So you have to think about that just singly think about that just singly right there. What was going on prior to here with a confederacy, with people, melanated woolly head beings, here with the confederacy, with the culture? How long were they here? Like I think we talked about this before. I think we might have talked about it before. Like if in Georgia, on the I think the Chattahoochee River, they talk about a prehistoric people. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
what they call them, a prehistoric people. That prehistoric people would be before 1776 when the story started, and you're still dealing with being natives. You know what I'm saying? And any
Yeah.
of those people that you talk about, Yamasee, Cherokee, whatever the case may be, they would have been the ones here. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to get back into the live. I don't what the
Oh,
bro.
you spin it a little bit, but I still see you.
No, I fell out. It's like
Are you all the way out?
on my end, bro. My signal is just I hate it
Oh
up
yeah,
here.
I think it's just your signal. Are you on
It is.
Wi-Fi?
No, I'm on like we got the whole thing in here. It's just this area in West LA, man.
Oh, okay. Because if you want to but
Can you
your
see?
phone connected to Wi-Fi?
Can you see? I'm putting on Wi-Fi right now. Maybe that'd be
Yeah,
better.
put on Wi-Fi. That's all. That always works best. Hold on a second. And let me see if I can. I'm invite you real quick. See if so you don't worry about that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's one of the main reasons why I appreciate you coming on and really talking about this topic because we have to get out of the narrative because even in my book I talk about how I remember fifth grade I was told I was a slave. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? It didn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he done fell out. Let me see. He must be coming. But anyway, I'll just talk till he gets back. But you know, oh, 1 second. Bear with me. See if he try to come back. Oh, here we go. Okay, you good?
Yeah, just keep going, man. You know we're gonna make it.
Oh no, you good. Did you see my invite? I know. Hey man, it's
Just keep
live. You already
going.
know this happens
No,
all
just
the
keep
time,
going.
man.
I'm gonna hop back in every time. Just keep
You already
going.
know, man. It's I
I'm
I'll
accepting
be.
all the invites. It's just that my signal stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I'm so
Just
used.
keep going. I'm right here.
So used to. Let me see what we got here. Bear with me. Oh, there you go. But let's see. Where am I at? Okay. But anyway, I remember I was told I was a slave in fifth grade, and like it just confused the hell out of me. I'm like, what? All this history. Of course, it being a public school and growing up Christian, all this kind of stuff, you never get any good information. You got to find it yourself, later on. But it just didn't sit with me well. So I asked the teacher, I was like, well, but weren't there other slaves? And did they fight? You know what I'm saying? That didn't sit with me well. Then later on, I started doing my research and realized that there's a whole story, not only about the world, but a whole story about us here in America that was not told. You know what I mean? And that's what we're getting into tonight. You know what I'm saying? Um,
100%.
you want to start? You want to start it now? The
Uh,
the slide.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm gonna get the slide. Okay. Here we go. 400 years.
Wait, hold on, man.
And for everybody that is on, okay, yeah,
Go ahead.
his slide on IG, unless he turns the phone around, what he normally does.
What you say?
Um, no, I was just saying, I was telling people on IG that it's a slide
Okay, no.
on
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
my bad, my bad.
Yeah, but
So,
he gonna turn. There
oh,
you
there
go.
you go, right
He gonna
here.
turn it around.
So look, we are taught about this 400 years of slavery. I know that's what I heard even by Marty songs.
Yeah.
400 years. You know,
Love that song.
Nation of Islam.
Hmm.
400 years. The white man. 400 years, brother.
Hmm.
You know, every black power function. You know, for 400 years. And what I found was once I was told I was Gullah Geechee and I wanted to make sense of it, I couldn't find a consistent 400 years of us submitting to these people. I
Hmm.
wasn't able to find it on record.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not just talking about slave revolts, like people probably think, like, okay, I had a few revolts. No, what I found was I never even saw them capturing an entire nation of people or anything like that. You feel what I'm saying? What I found was them mixing in, them adopting names, them blending in, them performing eugenics, and a lot of battles and wars, the Gullah Wars. So that's why the Gullah Geechee name was so important, because it put me on the Gullah Wars, which I found out was just the hidden wars, because really they call them Seminole Wars, Indian Wars. They use a bunch of, code names, because prior to the word nigger and Negro being actually legalized, they called all original people Indian.
Yeah.
I'll prove it to you. They did in Asia as well.
Yeah.
South Asia, they call it India now. They call the people there Indians. Who else is right there next to them that are also the same people, but they refuse to take that name? The Pakistanis, the Punjabis, you feel what I'm saying? The Bengalis. They're the same people, but they refuse to take that name Indian, because that is a corporate name from the British. You feel what I'm saying? That is a corporate name from the British, stamped on them as a mark. So it's the same thing they did over here. Before the so-called African slave trade, there was the Indian slave trade. And what I had to realize was, peace to God. What I had to realize was, in the lessons, right? Check this out. In the lessons, in the lessons that we're taught in the 5% Nation, they don't start slavery in 1620 like American history does. They start at 1555. Peace of the God. Now the average 5% he's going to limit his knowledge with what we teach of Sir John Hawkins' boat named Jesus in 1555. He went to Africa. He started offering people work. He started offering them more gold and other land. They would get on the boat under the pretense of Jesus, because it's not like they told us like, oh, here goes Jesus. We already knew about Jesus. We called him Isa, all that. But the point is, they used the story about this prophet saying, oh, he's their God, this, that, other, and bam, bam, got us on the boat. Bam. Now I keep saying us. This is how we get confused into thinking we're just slaves. The truth is, it's going to 1555. That's just doing the knowledge on what a guy or another studier or a fellow student may tell us. If you really do the science on that, what era is that in American history? That is the Indian slave trade. The reason it's not recognized is because this is British history we're going into now.
Yeah.
The British first encounters
his story.
You know what I'm saying? This is the British coming over here for the first time. It's really the Spanish that was conducting the Indian slave trade. So at this time, the original people here are warring with the Spanish. And the reason why it's hard for us to understand is because we were the Spanish at that time, the Moriscos. These were the newly converted Catholics from Granada, Al-Andalus, Cordova, Seville, Barcelona, you know what I'm saying? Niggas don't even realize that Morocco is so close to Spain. It's like Mexico and Cali.
Yep, you can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, you dropped out again.
They were capturing the original people here, people from Africa, people from the west coast of Africa, people from the west coast of Europe, right? This is the same triangle that you see in the so-called transatlantic, you know what I'm saying, slave trade. This is prior to that. This is the Indian slave trade. The guy in the lessons doesn't separate it. You know what I'm saying? He said, go back to 1555, you'll see. But what I realized when I studied that era in 1587, the English tried to settle here and got killed and got their ass ran out. This is why they started history at 1620, because that was the first time they successfully landed. Before that,
because they don't talk about that. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about that at all. Yeah.
What I learned is this: the white man would rather apologize to you for some shit that he didn't do than ever admit defeat. See, in the lessons, it says, what is the mental and physical power of a real devil? And it shows you how when the blood was thin through the eugenics, it was made weak and wicked.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't just talking about white and all that. Because even if you see a person that's like getting their blood drawn and masturbating and fighting, it just you get weak and wicked. So the point is that it was a more of like mixing in and eugenics being performed than it was of just conquering people.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was, you know what I mean? It was more of genetic warfare with like the smallpox and cheats. And this is what we gotta be aware of this so we realize that it's not far fetched when they come at us through the food
Yeah,
and through
exactly
the, you
right.
know, through
Yeah.
through the medicines and through the
Any,
entertainment.
any and every angle,
Yeah.
literally.
But this genetic angle is one that we seem to find far fetched at times, especially those of us that don't really have appreciation for
The
science,
the
you know.
the John Smith and Pocahontas story, right? As
Mhm.
an example. You know what I'm saying? The genetics, coming in, getting in the bloodline of the Powhatan folks, you know what I'm saying? Going back through time, eugenics. Tying into the vine, that's what another way to say it.
So I know even 1620, I read some books and different things, but I see people that I talk to that go all over the place. Some people go back to the 1400s, you know what I mean? And I'm glad to know the official numbers because there's a concept that a lot of people just buy into freely with the 400 years thing. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? So where are these 400 years? Because if we go from 1555, like the lessons say, they would go from 1555 to 1955.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we go from 1620, like the Black February Black History Month tells us, Mayflower, it would go to what 2020. It would just stop. Right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you got to be careful with how you do this. Now, this is what I found. Go to the next one. F all that. All right. So the legal institution of human chattel slavery, comprising the enslavement primarily of Africans and African Americans, was prevalent in the United States of America from its founding in 1776. That's 200 years after what we talking about.
Mm-hmm.
200 and something years after 1555. That's over 150 years after
Mm-hmm.
1620. So this is cap already. The
Yep.
United States of America never had us enslaved for the 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're adding together. They're basically saying all black was always slave to white. So it don't matter if we talk about to the French, Spanish, or whatever.
Exactly.
You niggas wasn't nothing. You niggas was slave. And that ain't true. We was with the Spanish and the French. We was free. That's where a lot of these last names come from. We had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Spanish and French names that were free,
Mm-hmm.
that were handed down, right? So predominantly in the South, slavery was established throughout European colonization in the Americas. Okay. So that's only my bad. So my point right there was that's only what 111 years. You feel me? So go to the next one.
Hey,
That's
lies, lies, lies.
that's
Cap, cap, cap.
111 years of war. Because the Gullah War started in 1739.
Mm-hmm.
So we was warring the whole time of the
The whole time.
1776 to 1865.
I, and I have to keep on pushing this point. It's like everything that pretty much we've been told when it comes to history, really anything that we've been told and not in ours, it's a lie. It's fabricated. It's
Yeah.
made up. You got to dig deep to find the truth. But I tell people all the time, if it's on TV, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If it's in a history book, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reality we have to start to see is that we have to go back to ourselves, our elders. Like he was saying, he spoke to his grandpa. Our elders have the story. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't care what anybody else says. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Hmm. So, and it's a respect thing because they say whatever they want. As long as they're blonde hair, blue eyed, or lighter than us, it doesn't matter what they say, you believe it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I'm this. I'm a quarter Chinese and especially this and that, and all that belongs to me. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? But as soon as I tell a nigga, oh yeah, I got this and that, and me, some Portuguese, this, oh no, nigga, you think you
Yeah,
think you
yeah,
special?
yeah.
Like, that ain't even mixed. We're
Yeah,
the original people. People like us
exactly,
come from
exactly.
all over the place. Fucking mixed. The fuck. So anyway,
That's a different conversation, different podcast.
Mayflower was an English ship that transported a group of English families known today as the Pilgrims from England to the New World in 1620. After a grueling 10 weeks at sea, Mayflower, with 102 passengers and a crew of 30, reached America, dropping anchor near the tip of Cape Cod. Right. Uh, go to the next one. So that's supposed to be the boat with
Okay,
the
here we go.
20 dudes from Angola. Can you take that off so I can read the whole thing? The little
Oh, I'll
yellow
take
thing?
the. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So the Indian Massacre of 1622, popularly known as the Jamestown Massacre, took place in the English colony of Virginia in what is now the U.S. on 22 March 1622. And what I want y'all to understand is, for anybody watching saying, man, that's the Indian stuff, what are they talking about? No, that's why we've just been giving you all these years. In the 1500s, Sir Francis Drake dropped off Africans, Moors, and Turks on the shores of North Carolina, the Carolinas. In uh, in 1521, they had the Indian slave trade going from Cherokee, Chicora, the city in South Carolina now that was a kingdom. It was present day South Carolina, taking them over the year, bringing people back and forth. Uh, when the Angolans, the 20 Angolans they brought with them, uh, got into the field with the rest of these captured people, you know what I mean? They were with them, and this is why you get the Stono Rebellion and the Gullah Wars and all that. So this is what preceded that. This is when it began. Now this is also known as the Powhatan Massacre. But let's read what the Powhatan is. The, the Powhatan Confederacy from 1570 to 1646 or 1677. So look at them years, y'all. That's
Mm-hmm.
way before the
Way
English
before
claim
America.
coming.
Yep.
But what people don't know is in 1570 and 1580 and all that, that's when they were first trying to land here. And they kept getting killed and disappearing, and groups of them disappearing because that's what made the Powhatan Confederacy come together. You know what I'm saying? This was over 30 nations united to go against any invaders. Was a political, social, and martial entity of over 30 Algonquian speaking Native American tribes of the region of modern day Virginia, Maryland, and part of North Carolina, USA, formed under the leadership of Opchanacanough, Chief Powhatan. Powhatan Confederacy, not nation, confederacy. That's many nations. You see, it said over 30 nations with different tongues and all together.
And one thing, and these are your folks that we're talking about right now. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? These are your people. You know what I'm saying? When your grandma and your grandma talk about, we have Indian under these your folks, these your ancestors he's talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, bro.
No, that's 100% because here's the thing where people went, well, I thought I was Cherokee. I thought I was
Mhm.
Yamasee. Okay, that's cool. That's the little names. That's the baby names.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We got
yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah,
names now.
yeah.
This is shit y'all ain't heard about because when y'all hear, who we got in here? We got some sisters too. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. When y'all hear Confederate or Confederacy, y'all go, oh, the white people, the white flag. Y'all understand legalese, right? They had confederacies down there because they refused to submit to the Union.
Mm-hmm.
This was everybody that wanted to be separate. They even had a Cherokee Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were called the Cherokee Brigades, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. Right? Yeah, they all used that Confederacy flag. They still don't want to be. Oh, peace to God. Much respect for that. But yeah, they put the all the different nations together, but it's still a confederacy. They're looking for more autonomy.
Yeah.
They're the Democrats. They were the ones that were the down south slave owners. You know, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think the Democrats is the, but that's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So these confederacies is just one of many. Because even the Cherokees was a confederacy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was like a later name and all that. You know what I mean? So what people don't understand is there's a lot of nations that we talk about that we uh, separate that had so much ties and slept together and shared something. Muskegee, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Creek, uh, Cimarron, if I'm not mistaken, like on Spanish, but now they say Seminole, you know what I mean? But the Seminole is like a mixture of all type of nations, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the point being is that
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You fell off on StreamYard. Just click back in. You fell off on StreamYard. Click back in. It's all good. StreamYard. There you go.
Peace of the,
Okay. There you go.
what I felt out saying.
You were just saying people, their mind, they're thinking, they're
Oh
not thinking
yeah, we
internationally.
when we think of native or before the United States or before the British or we were before we're the Indian. What you're doing is you're locking yourself further in the box. So you're taking the small.
Oh, fell out again.
What you're doing at that point is you're taking the small definition of an Indian that you've been given, which is really the $5 Indian created,
Mm-hmm.
face like a clone. When they married into the bloodlines, they actually made bloodlines on paper. Right, I'm saying let European families, Caucasian families. It's called the Dawes Commission. If you want to look it up, Dawes.
Mm-hmm.
They let them go into the Dawes Commission, and the Dawes Act is called the Dawes Rolls. So anybody, when they're looking their family names up, make sure you check that too. You know what I mean? In the Dawes Rolls, there was a lot of European families that were allowed to pay $5 and get their name put on the Dawes Roll. And then when they had the Dawes Commission, they took all the reparations they were supposed to pay to us and said,
Give
"Oh,
it
they're
to them.
black. They're not with us." But what we gotta understand is this too. It's not just about they didn't control us and they were so powerful. They were at war with us, meaning that they didn't want to recognize us. And it ain't just about what they wanted to do. A lot of us didn't want to recognize them.
Yeah.
A lot of us that didn't want to sign treaties with them. So there
Mm-hmm.
were other nations that became considered illegal. For example, me. Y'all looking at
Mm-hmm.
an illegal nigga. I ain't supposed to be here. The Gullah Geechee was illegal all the way to 1999. They were
Mm-hmm.
considered extinct. And I asked my grandpa, I said, "So what's the secret? What's the?" He said, "Man, he said, man, that we brought, that New Orleans, how they talk about that." He said, "Man, that's illegal, really." He said, "Man, they know you talking like that. They know you with the killers." We
Mm-hmm.
cry when they ask. He said, "Man, they be honest about you, about the way we talk and our whole little swag, like
Mm-hmm.
the Gullah swag, because they was because you can't find no history of the Gullahs outside of Warren, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not even a family type thing. It's more of a warrior type thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's family to my grandpa to me, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
look at him historically, it's not like, oh, the Gullahs were known for riding boats and cooking over here. This is something that came together during the time of war and
Mm-hmm.
fought. It's a mixture of tongues, mixture of foods,
Mm-hmm.
of the lands. That's why it goes from Jacksonville, uh, North Carolina, down to Jacksonville, Florida. You know what I mean? That was when we was warned. We were actually, it didn't go. Look, that's a lie about the Underground Railroad going from south to north. I'm not gonna say that's a lie altogether, like it didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But our direction was really to go from north to south. We used to
North to
go
south,
down,
yeah.
yeah, we used to go down to Florida and
You know,
Louisiana.
it's interesting you say that about like the $5 Indians, because I be seeing like you know Caucasian people. Oh, they got all these different things. Oh, they got so and so. They're like, and first you talk to them. Oh, I'm not white. I'm Native American. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How can you be native anything when you weren't even here? But what we'll give you 1770? We'll give you the 1500s. How you
Hmm.
native to anything? You know what
Come
I'm
on,
saying?
yeah, for real. And look right here. It says, hold on. It says on the 22nd of March, 1622, John Smith, though he had not been in Virginia since 1609 and was not an eyewitness, related in his history of Virginia that warriors of the Powhatan came unarmed into our houses with deer, turkeys, fish, fruits, and other provisions to sell us. The Powhatan then grabbed any tools or weapons available and killed all the English settlers they found, including men, women, and kids of all ages. Chief Opchanacanough led the Powhatan Confederacy in a coordinated series of surprise attacks, and they killed a total of 347 people, a quarter of the population of the Virginia colony. See, the thing is, the reason why they lie to us is they don't want us even thinking like that. They don't even want us imagining that.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel me?
Yeah.
They want
And
us to, yeah.
no, it's just it's a trip because you hear the same stories, in Haiti. You hear the same, all over you hear the same exact stories.
Chicago,
So,
Detroit. And
it's,
this is why I say, and get y'all a copy of the Blue Bible, y'all, because that's why I explain the Blue Bible how you gotta look at the Creole culture. What we gotta do is we gotta stop acting like every culture we had is just some small little group. Creole is ours together. Gullah Geechee is ours together, just like this Powhatan. You feel what I'm saying? And the Shakur, that's why Tupac and them brought back the Shakur, the original, Cherokee. Peace to the guys. Peace. Muskegee, you feel what I'm saying? Creek, you know what I'm saying? Yamasee, Seminole,
and we were talking about this. We were talking about this before.
Louisiana, the
Yeah,
original Louisiana from Canada down to Haiti. Like we gotta study all that. No, that's us.
and we were talking about this offline, but we got to bring it up now because if you have civilizations that have been around for thousands and thousands of years that have boats. Let's say we're in Africa, Mansa Musa, you know what I'm saying, coming over, getting the streams, coming over, back and forth, doing trading with his brothers and sisters over here that look like him, looking for his brother because he looked like his brother that was already over here. We've been doing this for a very long time. We've native to the planet, we're native to the land, Native America, South America, all those pyramids you see, it's all, all connected. So it's very important. We have to understand is that the aspect of antiquity and connecting with the nativity is it all leads back home to us.
Oh hell yeah!
Let's see. Let me go back. Okay.
But that goes back to what you were saying, right? Because they like to box us in.
Yeah.
We do this to ourselves, even with the Gullah Geechee. They'll say Angola is where the word Gullah come from. But I actually found the original true Gullah tribe. If I could using what my grandfather said, saying no, we go to Europe and where France is, I found about the Normandy and the Vikings and Princess Mary Aten, the daughter of Pharaoh Kenaton that left Egypt when Tut fell. That's 2,000 years before Jesus. They're gonna tell us to always go back to Taharqa, 7-Eleven, and all that shit.
Exactly.
The Muslims were going to take it back. Feel what I'm saying? And we were there already, even when they came. But when they came and seen all the filth and all that amongst those people that we gave that land to, they cleaned them back up.
They cleaned them up. Yep.
But they also mixed in with them during that
time.
Did. Yep. Lost themselves. And that's the same thing you see up here.
Yep, same thing, same story. Different different geographic location, same story.
Damn near at the same times.
Yeah. Because the same story as the revolts we're talking about.
Because you see, as soon as they expel the what they call the Moriscos, which is the Jews and the Muslims, which is us. That's just they hide us in them religions, bro. Yeah, they really be our real names. That's why we get all excited. Like, oh, that's really us. I'm like, yeah, nigga, how you gonna say it belonged to them? And they got names like Hapstelberger,
Appelstein,
and Einstein, and all this shit. I ain't never heard no Einstein in the Bible.
Again,
never heard no goddamn Spielberg in the Bible.
Again, it goes to nativity and antiquity. Because anybody that comes later can convert to what you're being taught by the originals.
They can convert, but it's still, look, bro, even with all the power they have, all you got to do is cut your light switch on and it becomes obvious. Who the hell in the Bible named Spielberg or Einstein?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anybody can convert later on.
Even our so-called slave names like Jackson and Rivers, them go to the Bible. If you understand how to break down etymology, like the Jean and the, you know what I'm saying, Johannas and all that.
Antiquity it all goes to antiquity, and like we said earlier, the timeline. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy to grab on and grasp something you converted to later on, especially when you have a worldwide power structure that's very new. You know what I'm saying? So your you can propagate your doctrine that you were indoctrinated with and converted to. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see today. You know.
Exactly. And I want to say too that, like I was saying, when they expelled uh, the Moors out of Spain and Portugal in 1492, they were only expelling those that refused to convert.
Mm-hmm.
So all those people with, Spanish names that were riding the ships after, they was Moors.
Yeah.
And I say that not to just say, yeah, Moors, so go join the Moor Science Temple. I'm saying that they were able to cross the seas and make
Yeah.
deals and make
Navigate. Mhm.
slimy little plans on behalf of the church with the Moors that were here already. It wasn't as difficult or as crafty as we think. It was
Mhm.
them doing it to themselves on behalf of the church. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep. 100%. Let me go back. Okay, here we go.
So that's just to say that all the people, it was a very large history and many civilizations before the United States of America in these
Yes.
lands right here.
And in addition, the government that you see now, all it is, again, going back to earlier about being converted, all it is everything that we had here originally as a government. They took it and put their version of it, and that's what you see today.
100%. Go ahead, slide again.
One more, all right.
So this is the breakdown timeline to show that
All right.
the slavery timeline doesn't match reality because the 1620 jumps off with the Indian Massacre in Jamestown, Virginia, and then in 1715 we have a Yamasee War in South Carolina. This is 60 years before 1776.
70%, yeah.
So it wasn't only just resistance the whole time; it was complete war. Like, this was sophisticated. These were groups of nations
Mhm.
together of people of our ancestors. You know.
Yep. Whew. Boy, oh boy. All right. Are we moving on?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll keep going a little more.
All right.
Let's be on. I'm gonna stop there.
Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So after Yamasee War, where you may think it's just slave, 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 these are ships coming from the area that my grandfather claims we came freely on. You see right there, this is called the Amistad. Most people have seen the movie Amistad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just think of the Africans being brought to Brazil, or what was it, Cuba they were being brought to. But
Mm-hmm.
this is the Amistad. This was actually coming from the Gaul area, which is known as, France now. It was going across, across, across. See how it was. This is all the 1700s. So there's many of us. This is why we got so much Creole in us. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Free as free blood. Keep going. Yeah. So where they were coming to, see the year here, 1750. So where they were coming to was not. There was no United States of America yet. So you have here the British territory versus the French. You feel what I'm saying? So they may come near the English speaking, but all of this was us. It's all belonged to the Creoles. You feel what I'm saying? From
Mm-hmm.
Canada all the way down there, and then even Haiti was included.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, and they all had a common tongue. Just like on the other side of the water, many of us dealt with Islam and spoke Arabic. Over here, many of us dealt with Catholicism in a mixture certain time because they had a Gaelic. They had what's called the Gaelic Catholic Church.
Mhm.
That's what I was talking about. In
And this is where you would connect, all your Louisiana purchase, all the different things that the stuff that we learned in school. You would connect that with the other true side of the story, or even why there wasn't a purchase, or you know what I'm saying. That this is the connection that you make here of the native aspect of it.
well, let me go to the Blue Bible. Get your copy. CripJesus.com. The Blue Bible, page 86. The Pilgrims captives did not accept slavery. They freed themselves in a series of battles called the Gullah Wars. Hold on, shit, keep going in now. They freed themselves in a series of battles called the Gullah Wars. They began in 1739 when 20 rebels broke into a gun shop, stole weapons, and murdered the shopkeepers. They were part of a society of dangerous families called Gullah Geechee. Their territory went from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. They were best known for murdering plantation owners and smuggling slaves down to Florida, where they joined nations such as the Seminoles or migrated west to Louisiana and New France. Before the Louisiana Purchase, the New France Empire stretched from Canada down to Haiti. After the French Revolution, all of the Creole people were the Napoleon. All of the Creole people were free. Napoleon Bonaparte attempted to enforce racial laws and put us into slavery, but we resisted. The Creole people murdered all of Napoleon's soldiers. In these times, we were free. There was no need for civil rights. Our rights were based on nationality and religion, like all other nations.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
this just goes to show, like, there's a whole Creole history that goes right in with the Seminole, Gullah Geechee. You know what I mean? Like we used to go down to the south. They can talk about we used to go to the north. Nah, we used to go to the south.
South,
You can
yeah.
go. You can go to Florida. You can go west and go to Louisiana. You feel what I'm saying? That's at
Mm-hmm.
the time of New France. Meaning that
Yeah.
once you cross over to Louisiana, you can go all up to Canada, back down. You good.
Mm-hmm.
It's before the Louisiana Purchase. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Next
Did
slide.
you when we go to the next slide, or is
Yeah.
that it? Oh, fell off, fell out again.
So that's Noble Drew Ali. He's always looking like a Turk. And this is a picture of the same type of people he always describes, the olive color, the original people that were Moors from across the waters, but they were here originally as natives. Guess where that man's from? The Yamasee.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's no coincidence he's born in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
saying he's Turk, saying he's with the Moroccans. And this man right here is from South Carolina in the Yamasee War. He looks just the same way.
Yep.
My bad about that.
No, you
Because
good.
what we gotta understand is that there's even more history. That's why we gotta stop looking at ourselves as these absolute people. Like it was us and here and there, and we all came
Mm-hmm.
in this boat right here. And it's like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
no, we the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so easy for us? This, I think it's a self insecurity thing. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we have no problem looking at the European like this. He can come from a small little place called France, but you understand that he had an empire. He was over here, he's over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far fetched. It's easy for you to understand it was a Spanish empire. You understand what I speak. It's easy for you to understand it's an English empire. You just gotta understand this. We had an empire because probably you sleep to what to look for to see. You
Yeah.
understand? But once you're given something to see, do you deny it out of your own insecurity and say, "Man, we wasn't all that"? It's like, bro, in the Yamasee War, there was an element that looks like us as far as how we're described as Negroes, Africoids, and all that, but there's an element there that they don't want to admit to. That's a Turkish, Islamic, ancient element, and that was the what's called the Melungeons. If anybody want to look it up, Melungeon, and the Melungeons are descendants of the Turks that were left there by a slave trader named Sir Francis Drake. He dropped off Turks and some Moors. You know what I mean? So there's a strain through us on a genetic level and on a political level. They didn't adhere to the Christian government that was just now getting established here. They adhered to the more Islamic uh, government that had been here. You know what I'm saying? With, like I said, the head from Fez, Morocco controlled it just like the head from Washington D.C. controls it now. Matter of fact, I think the capital then was Marrakesh in Africa, and that's where you got the White House there called Casablanca.
Casablanca, yep.
Hmm.
It's just it's just it's just interesting. No, and going back to what you were saying just now, it's like unless you have a foundation or information about your past and about things that you weren't told, of course you're gonna have these insecurities. You know what I'm saying? Of course
Hmm.
you're gonna have all these different things because you don't have a knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? You don't have your story. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's almost impossible to be able to even visualize it because you were never given nothing but another story. I think that's why it's so important to dig deep and find your true history because your perspective on everything as far as the way the world is. Oh, I think you fell out again. The way the world is, it changes. You know what I mean? It changes completely. Um, oh, let me bring you back in. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Okay, there. Yeah, it just changes your okay. It just changes your perspective because, like we were saying earlier, nobody can tell me nothing about anything when it comes to my history,
Yeah.
especially if it's coming from a non-biased twist. And for some from individuals don't have the records of being here, you can't tell me nothing. I'm sorry. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You can't tell me nothing. Can't tell me nothing about Islam because you were converted from the
Hmm.
original black Arabs.
Yeah.
Can't tell me about Judaism because you converted from the original
Yeah.
Falashins. Can't tell me about nothing about the original Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
it's all about going back to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then everybody should go back to self. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that's the problem. Once we start trying to imitate each other and be each other, that's when the energies get unbalanced. The
yeah.
man trying to
I
be
agree.
woman, the white man trying to be the black man trying to be the white man. It's
Hmm.
like, come on, homie.
Yeah.
Dig deep into self because self is infinite. Like, you're going to have more of self and more of self and more of self and more of self.
Hmm. Yeah, and just like you were saying, and we can kind of end it with this, but the fact that you just said how we can't be absolutist, and how one way sees all the truth. No, you know what I'm saying? It's all a big puzzle. You know what I'm saying? And I think I appreciate you because you've done to take the time to start to put the puzzle together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of our master teachers before have been able to, you know, put the puzzle and lay it out in front of you so you could do your research after the fact, even bring the puzzle together even closer. And I
Yeah.
appreciate your book. I appreciate what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And and going from there. So you know, is there anything else? But could you please tell them where you can get the book at? You know what I'm saying, etc.
Yes, sir. It's Crip Jesus, the blue guy. Just come to cripjesus.com. Don't even waste your time trying to look everywhere else. I mean, really, you can Google me, though. I ain't hard to find, but I'm saying you come on to cripjesus.com and get your copy of the Blue Bible. I mean, as soon as you scroll in, it's gonna say get your copy. You're gonna see the blue and gold icon. Click that one, you can get the physical. Click the black and white where it says the Blue Bible, black and white, you get the download the ebook, $13. You feel what I'm saying? Have it your way, however you want to do it. But get your copy of the Blue Bible written by
That's
Crip
it.
Jesus. Amen.
Well, this is another amazing build. And again, one of the reasons I love having a good brother here, man, because he's thorough with his research. You know what I'm saying? He don't just say something talking off the side of his neck. He comes with it correct with the information. I appreciate the scholarship. You know what I'm saying?
Much love, bro.
And I appreciate like we said, the intent on what I'm saying, getting information out to the people and raise our
Oh, yeah.
consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, good brother. And we're gonna have you on going. We got to think of another good topic to have on. But besides that, Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. If you're watching, if you haven't already, please follow the good brother Crip Jesus. Look him up. Follow Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast. Go to Polka Dot Rabbit Podcast and get my book. Besides that, we out of here.
Peace.
All right, peace. Let's see.